Hey guys, welcome back. I am Otaku Mike, and today we're doing a manga first impression on... What are we doing our manga first impression on? Well, we are doing the manga companion of The Rising of the Shieldhero, Volume 1 and Volume 2, because that's all I got right now, right? Have to say, this is interesting. So, our story starts out with this guy on the floor. He's like, what the hell, you summoned me here. And this king's like yelling at him. We see these three other characters in the background. He's like, the king's like, oh, you're a devil. Blah, 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 blah. Like, he's like angry. And, then it cuts back to our hero. What's our hero's name again? Because I forget what it's called. I just call him Shieldhero. Naofumi. He's at like a bookstore or some kind of thing. He's like, oh, I'm poor. No, he's at a library. I think he's at a library. And he's like looking for stuff. And he finds this book and he's like, starts reading it. And he sees like, about mystical weapons, and there's to save a kingdom and stuff like that. He gets transported from this book into this other world with these three other guys that he knows nothing about. And the other guys, they think they're in a video game. They're like, oh yeah, we're in a video game. One has like a spear, one has a sword, and one has a bow, and our hero gets left with the shield. So, they're like, oh yeah, the shield is useless in most role-playing / MMOs, because they think they're in a game. And Naofumi is basically the only one who's like, guys, I don't think we're in a game. So the king tells them that there's this destruction wave or calamity that's basically gonna show up, and they've already experienced the first wave, and they're going to experience the second wave. So they had to summon these these legendary heroes to fight, because if I remember correctly, the other legendary heroes died previously, and that's why these guys got summoned. If I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, because I can't remember all the time. So, yeah, he's like, the king's like, yeah, so we're going to have these, basically companions that are willing to go with you and help you on your adventures. So they divvy up the companions, and they're like, hey, some are going to go with the shield, no, some are going to go with the sword, some are going to go with the bow, some are going to go with the, spear guy. None want to go with the shield hero. Because they're like, oh, the shield hero is weak and blah, 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 and stuff like that. And, he's useless. Except for one, this girl right here. She decides to leave the spear hero and go with the shield hero. He's like, what? Oh, thanks, Thanks for going with me. So he gets, all this money, and she goes out with him to, get supplies and stuff. They go back to their the inn, I believe it is. He wakes up. All of his money is gone. All of his equipment gone, except for his shield that he has on his arm, because they can't, take that off. The girl turns out to be the king's daughter, if I remember correctly. And she accuses him of rape. Yeah, that's the thing that happens. He gets accused of rape, and they're like, oh, he's a demon. How can you do that? And she's like, oh, I'm gonna go with the spear hero. He's gonna protect me. Basically, she fucking set him up. And he goes out. He basically becomes very disingenuous and is very angry at the world for how they're treating him. And he's gonna go fight out on his own. He's basically like, fuck you guys, I'm going out here and I'm going to do my own thing. And so, he goes out and fights a couple of balloon slime looking thingies. which are actually pretty funny. They show up several times within the manga, which is pretty hilarious because they like latch on to him, and they latch on to him, and he uses them sometimes as weapons, which is pretty cool. Actually, it's really cool. So he's like, oh, this is gonna take forever to level up, and I believe he like levels up like a little bit. Because you start to see like, oh, he got this much experience. He got this much experience. He's like, I'm not going to be able to do this. Because he can't touch a weapon that is not his shield. He gets electrocuted, basically. He basically can't fight. He's more of a defensive type of hero, basically. So what does he do? He uses the rest of his money to basically buy a slave. So he goes out to a slave place, and the slave guy's like, hey, I got this werewolf thing over here. And he's like, no, give me like the cheapest one you got. He finds our slave, I guess you could say, Reptilia. She becomes his sword, which is very interesting. She's very timid at first, she doesn't want to fight, but, she has her own problems because, she's very scared of what happened from her past. You learn that later on. But he's like, no, look, I'll protect you, but you gotta do this for me. You gotta help me get stronger, basically, because whatever experience she gets, he gets. And he starts to learn more about his shield and what it can do. Like, it can, get different elemental abilities and stuff like that, which is really cool. Actually, I like the way they implemented the shield abilities. And later on in the second volume, you get what actually happens in the wave, or the destructive wave, basically. And that's actually really interesting because our heroes basically go off without him. Because they get transported to where they're supposed to defend everything. They go off on their own. He decides to stay behind and basically protect the people, and basically they get all the credit and stuff like that. So I don't really want to spoil too much. For the first 2 volumes, this series is actually pretty well planned out so far. I found myself really enjoying it and learning more about the world, and learning more through Nafuma's eyes and also Raftelia's eyes. I really like those 2 characters. Honestly, the other heroes can go fuck off because they're a bunch of jerks. These 2 characters seem starting to feel like they're starting to get well developed. And, they're not just one-note characters, which I really, really do like. My only complaint is, some people say that this is kind of hard to find a little bit, or it's out of print. It took me a while to find Volume 3. I haven't gotten Volume 3 in the mail yet. But I got the rest of it as well. It seems to be really well paced out and a really well thought out world. As somebody who is actually kind of picky on their isekai stories, this one is very well told, and it's very interesting the way the hero thinks, because he's honestly basically, oh well, I'm going to protect you guys, no matter what you guys say, I want to get the fuck out of here, basically. That's what he's saying. He's like, I want to get the fuck out of here. I don't want to fucking be here, It's interesting the way that the other characters look at him and treat him, honestly. There are some really nice action elements to this book. The action isn't drawn out. It's very fast and very fluid. When it gets violent at some points when they're killing some of the monsters. But if you're on the fence about this Rising of the Shieldhero, highly, highly recommend it. it's actually pretty good. Thanks, Jen Graves, for recommending me check out these books because they're awesome, in my opinion. And I want to see where the story goes from here. Sorry for the long first impression. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of Shieldhero. It's also a light novel. If you can't find it in manga form, it is a light novel. And it also got an anime adaptation that I hear is actually pretty good. I'm going to check that out too. This has been Otaku Mike. Thank you for watching. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. Always helps. I'll catch you guys later. I'm gonna go read some more Shieldhero. Peace out, guys. Catch you later.